Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of michED Live. I'm Brandon, and tonight we've got a very difficult task, which is to try to broadcast live with my friend Jeff, who is at an ice rink, about to play a game, and he's on his phone with 5% battery life. He can't see the Twitter feed at all because he can't do video and participate and view the chat at the same time. But you know what? We aren't afraid to fail. We're ready to try new things, and if we fail doing so, then at least we tried. We figured it would be better to try and do a show, even if it's brief, than not try to do one at all. So, Jeff, thank you for trying, and buckle up, man. This is gonna be interesting.
Sometimes Larry about I can't see the feed. I'm just talking. Sometimes really quiet in here. Coach was giving instructions to some young kids, and I didn't want to be talking about education and such.
Yeah, you know, you you sound like a Daft Punk song. The way that you're auto-tuned, and yeah, it's actually really cool. It's like that sounded really good, you know. If you might be too young to remember Max Headroom, but you sound like Max Headroom. So let's just do what we can, and if you cut out, you cut out. Question one is, what does michED mean to hashtag michED mean to you? Can you talk about that, Jeff?
Means to me, you know, here. I think it's we were fine until we went live. But no, michED to me is community. Now it's friends. It's kind of crazy how it was like this. I actually looked at a lot of the people, their profile pictures from before I knew. Look at them. Celebrities in the state as far as education was concerned, and now I get to talk to those people all the time, so it's really cool. What does michED mean to you?
Well, michED, you know what? michED to me sort of signifies the reinvigoration of my interest in the teaching media and stuff. I've been working for nonprofit educational organization for a long time, and you know, once we went to McCall this year and started really getting involved with the community, and then through the program that we both work for, talking to a lot of the teachers who are involved in the michED community, has really, like, their passion has sparked my passion, and it's made me feel a lot more connected and a lot more, like doing this, 8 o'clock at night on my own free time. We're not being paid to do this or anything like that, but yeah, it's fun for me to be involved with these people, And looks like we've got someone joining us, and it's Jennifer Bond.
I just clicked on the thing. I didn't even know it was really
what
we're doing.
Hey, well, you're helping us out because Jeff is in sort of a weird spot where he's waiting for his hockey game to start, and he can't see the Twitter feed. So maybe you can just, if you don't want to stick around, I mean, you can just kind of tell us what michED means to you.
Sure. No, I was just on the Twitter chat. So is this just a little subset of the michED little chat tonight?
Yeah, you know what? For the past 3 weeks, we've been sort of doing this live show, which kind of highlights and talks about the different things that we see in the Wednesday night michED chat. We're not officially connected to like the michED .net website, but this live show came as a result of the retreat that we all went on together, and started talking about what other things we could do to engage people during this time. So yeah. So
I was just answering the whole what michED means, and I really do love chit-chatting with people on a smaller scale, knowing that I'm going to be able to see them at ed camps and at meetups and at our local MI Google conference, and being able to see those people that you interact with here and there on Twitter, and then seeing face to face more regularly throughout the year,
Oh man, look at this
helps
crowd.
solidify those relationships and those connections.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've got a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I think the next person that jumped in was Steven. Hello, Steven.
How are you doing?
Good, very good. Where are you from, Steven?
What was that, Miss Jeff?
Very good, very good. And it looks like we have, wow, I've like 2 weeks of like we had nobody join, and now we have like just a ton of people joining. So this is like fantastic, but it's chaotic because I don't know how to manage all of this. Stephen,
hey everybody, welcome to this edition of michED Live.
Oh, hey, I hear myself.
And tonight we've got a very difficult.
All right, that was really cool. Anyway, so Stephen, what does hashtag michED mean to you?
I guess I could say lately it's just been about connecting, following people, finding out what's going on locally. That's kind of my main thing. I've really just been new to Twitter since last spring, just after McCall.
Yeah, absolutely. And is this your first time participating in the Wednesday night chat?
No, I've been on the chats for a while, but this is I saw your link last week for your Google Hangout, so I kind of jumped on to see how my connection was and see who's live.
Absolutely, yeah. It's we weren't sure if we were going to do it, but we're like, hey man, why don't we just try it? So I see, I think I saw Todd in there.
Yeah, I saw him briefly.
Todd Block, but with this mess, I'm not sure. He may have dropped off and said, hey, I don't want anything to do with this train wreck. But hey, it's good. And Jeff, are you still there, Jeff?
I am. I switched over to these cool shades.
Okay, I can't understand a thing you're saying, but I assume that it's fantastic. You always have good ideas. So, Jennifer and Steven, do you see what question number 2 is? I can't seem to find it.
It had to do with how other teachers can utilize the michED hashtag in helping them.
Ah, I see. So, did you tweet anything out to that? It's kind of hard to like talk on camera and also like tweet things out. So, if you
I haven't done it just because I'm like, I never know eye contact. Because you want to have eye contact, but then you don't want to,
Absolutely.
So the hashtag, I had said that it's about getting different perspectives, but from communities that you can relate to. Because you want to compare how's it going in this district and this district, and being that we're from the same state or region, it's helpful to know how things are going, and we have some bit of the same standards or same processes and those types of things. So getting different perspectives, but then also having the ability to collaborate and maybe like physically collaborate, like if classrooms maybe had shared field trips, or being able to actually join up outside of school.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen, did you have any thoughts about that question as well?
Well, I was going to say it sounds really about the same thing because, in your own district you get very much tunnel vision about, the one side that they present to you over and over again. And I find when I do workshops or I'm working with other school districts and other teachers, that's when you really find out, how things are going, where you can kind of really gauge where you are in your district compared to other districts and in the state in terms of initiatives and things. So that's kind of my take on really getting another perspective.
Absolutely, and there's there's people from all over the country, and I think I've even seen a couple of people from like Australia and stuff like that. So to get a really wide perspective of what's going, what other teachers are doing, I think is really helpful, as well as people around around the state who are dealing with the same kind of things that you are, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Jeff, are you there? You keep popping in and out.
I'm gonna minimize the amount of words I use, and hopefully that will reduce the amount of broad bandwidth that I use.
Yeah, that's like a true hockey player. Minimize the amount of words you use. So, so Jeff, do you have any thoughts on how you can utilize the michED community in the classroom?
I really never. I was always fearful of using like Twitter and stuff like that with my students, especially. Sophos was a killer for any kind of social media in my school. So to be honest,
Like a
I don't
firewall,
really
like a
have
blocker, right?
Yeah, firewalls really attacked anything I was trying to do as far as social media was concerned. So I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Yeah, but so aside from that, you can take the spirit of it into the classroom, not just the technology, right?
Right. No, something that I really appreciate now that I'm thinking about it that I used is the character limit and teaching conciseness, trying to communicate ideas in a short amount of space was something that was an interesting thing to play around with students when you wanted them to be concise and then also like briefly spend time thinking about something and not getting too involved with it. So it's kind of interesting. The constraints of Twitter can actually help encourage a certain type of thought that you wanna get across. I don't know if anyone else has noticed those affordances before.
Absolutely, but you know what? We have got Todd online. Hey Todd, and it's Todd Block. We know that for sure, right? It's not Bloach, not Blotch.
Right. Well, my students call me Todd Bloach sometimes, so or Blotch, maybe like an ink blotch. But yeah, Todd Block. How are you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing great, man. It's so nice to hear from you. Yeah.
Great to be here. I feel like I'm missing something because I see the Twitter feed on my side of my screen and I'm talking to you. So what's going on?
That's really the hard part about it is that you really want to engage and participate, but you can't do that while you're engaging on the camera. So it's sort of a trade-off, and it's a very understandable lack of productivity. But Todd, what does michED mean to you?
I've been around probably since it started, so michED is like family to me. It's just it's all these wonderful people. I love going to conferences in the state, whether it be an ed camp or just a conference. I was at 21st Century in St. Clair, and there were so many wonderful people I've met through the michED chat community that were there, and you said hi. I mean, Jennifer was there, Rochelle. There were so many people. It's like you walk into any one of these conferences, and I feel guilty because I can't go and sit in everybody's session. It's like, oh, I know there's so many great things going on at the conference because you know everybody there. That's so much power. And you go, well, I know what that person's going to do, but I can talk to them on Twitter, so I'll go see some. I mean, almost end up missing my friends' presentations because, you can talk to them on Twitter. You've read their blog. You go, I'll ask them at a different time, or I'll Google Hangout, or I'll do something later.
Absolutely, and I think through this community, you can sort of have a weekly session. Instead of just the session at such and such conference or such and such
right.
Meetup, you can leverage that all every week. So that's another benefit of it. I think Rob Patton, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Rob, I've seen you around the michED chat. You always have great things to contribute. How are you, sir?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm hanging in there.
Right.
Hanging in there. Wednesdays are really busy, but so Rob, what does michED mean to you?
Well, for me, it was just a place where I realized, wow, there are people like me that are passionate about what I do, that have a similar interest in technology, and you kind of feel sometimes a little alone at your school. And it was just great to find out that there are other people out there that just have those similar passions that I do.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I found that whereas Facebook is more like people that you know, right? And Twitter, I guess there's the mechanism in Facebook as well to do hashtagging and stuff like that, but I don't think it's as robust. But with Twitter, you're able to it's fueled by passions and what people are interested in, and you can go and you can find a really tight knit community of people who are interested in all the same things you are. Whereas Facebook is just more like you just happen to know these people, your paths have crossed at one point or another, and you don't necessarily have the same interests, right? You went to high school with them, or you live down the block from them, or something like that. So yeah, so I think that's the real true benefit of Twitter, right? And then as such, michED.
Absolutely.
Right. So completely abandoning these questions here. I didn't see question 3. Was there a s'more that had all the questions on? I didn't see it this time.
Yeah, I didn't know what. I thought it was actually kind of interesting because I find that people are posting the responses before I even see the questions going up there tonight. So
you know what? I've been guilty of that before. When I knew that I wasn't going to be able to tweet during the allotted time, I would preload them up in TweetDeck and and the first time I did that, I didn't realize that they were done. The questions were released at certain times by the moderator, so I just queued them up every 7 minutes. I was way off. Guy's nuts.
Did that was Chris Stanley last year did the hybrid learning chat, and he opened it up, and I didn't get in until 15 minutes in. He opened it up and asked everyone to introduce themselves, and I was like, boom, answer 1. Boom, answer 2, and it was all these answers before people were done introducing themselves. I felt so embarrassed and like a bot.
Yeah, it's everyone was talking about you behind your back, and they said that you were a jerk and not authentic.
All the time anyway.
Exactly. Well, you know what? If it says anything about your character and how much you are dedicated to this community, you are in your underoos, I'm guessing, and waiting to go into the locker room to change. But first, you are participating, so I think that speaks volumes about your dedication.
I appreciate it, Brandon.
You don't sound very appreciative. You sound like you're angry with me for pointing out your
yeah,
your
a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm trying to find question number 3. I don't know what the question is, but
I think
maybe
it had something to do with how you use it in the classroom or how it impacts your weekly, kind of like what number 2 sounded like too.
Yeah.
How you use it in the classroom.
Yeah. I think it says question 3 is how can michED be more than a weekly Twitter chat? So I think we covered a little bit of that, right, and how to bring the spirit of it into the classroom and stuff. But do any of you have any ideas on how to make it more than a weekly chat? I assume having it twice a week isn't really a good answer. How can you extend this community past the chat room? Todd, do you have any ideas about that?
I think you start by just meeting people face to face. We've done some tweet ups. We did one at the zoo for michED community this summer. And when you start making those face-to-face relationships, it makes it more than just a hashtag. It makes, myself and Michael Medevsky have met up a whole bunch of times, and I'm trying to get to his classroom. It just hasn't worked yet. But and then going and observing each other teach and taking it to that next level, trying to do some collaboration, whatever you. I mean, we're all busy, but whatever you can find time to do, you have to try to do it.
We could really have Google Hangouts of teacher modeling, in virtual little trips. You put yourself on Google Hangout on air and just teach a fun lesson, and then invite other classrooms or people. Hey, watch me. What do you think?
Yeah, we could have some sort of community where you post okay, I'm doing it from Monday night 5 to 7, and then see what which ones sync up or something like that. I mean, would it have to be that planned out? You think? It would almost have to be, right?
I don't know. Or I mean, if I know sometimes I've had people like, how do you use bring your own device in your classroom? And I'm like, if you want to visit during one of our bring your own device days, I can just have you tune in, or I don't know, or special lessons. I don't know. It could be like that teacher to teacher model. That might be fun.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
There's definitely room for that. Stephen, did you have any thoughts on how to bring that beyond just the weekly chat?
Well, I was going to say I like the ideas because I actually met Todd at EdCamp Detroit, doing a little session, and there was a new teacher to science, and actually jumped on Twitter, and Todd came up and helped out. But having those connections to find out what other, like me in science, what other science teachers are doing in their classroom. But I like that idea, maybe throwing a spreadsheet together of saying, hey, these are the hours I teach these lessons. This is my AP physics class. You want to see me do this lesson? You want to see, I could throw up a Skype or Google Hangout and throw my camera around the room, and people can back channel or do whatever they want. Throw up today's meet, communicate, just observe, and then type in. That'd be. I think that'd be a great thing to try. So
definitely, here's a bunch of people who are on Skype. If you use Skype, here's a bunch of people who you can FaceTime. Here's a bunch of people who you can do Google Hangout and stuff, and just build like a catalog of resources maybe. What do you think, Rob? Does that sound like a good idea?
I think it's great. I believe it or not, I'm actually very much an introvert, and I think that just to be able to connect with you guys in this way, and when I saw that you were doing this michED Live, was this just something that was started this week?
We've done it the past 2 weeks. It's sort of just like
I completely missed it. I think I've been busy with my kids or something.
Yeah. Back to school.
But I saw this. I thought this was such a cool idea. And the ideas that you're throwing out as far as trying to do something to to bring each other into our own classrooms, I think that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, let me see if there's a couple of good tweets out here for question 3. Caitlin Popilars says, is michED involved in teacher ed and pre-service courses now? I think Twitter should be a requirement for all teachers, especially new. Do you guys think that teachers should be required to be on Twitter? That seems like really hard to manage.
Not required. Requiring somebody to do something is kind of tough, and there's so many different social media outlets you can use. But I think that schools of ed and things should train people, and it should be an option. I don't think any social media was around when I went to school, so it wasn't part of my training, but we need to let it be out there. I know that there's people like David Coffey and Troy Hicks that are trying to get Michigan schools of ed to use Twitter as a training tool for schools of ed, but we shouldn't require. I don't know if we could go that far. That's tough. It's not for everybody. If you can't say it's the silver bullet for everybody. It's a great tool, but some people like Pinterest. Some people like other tools, and it's just something to put in somebody's toolbox and say this is one way to do it.
I really agree with that sentiment, but I do think that administration can be more intentional about utilizing these communities. I think a lot of it is just left up to teachers' own intuition, wandering into a Twitter community and using it as a PLN. I know that Houghton Lake High School actually has their own hashtag that they what is it, Brandon? HLHS great things. Hashtag HLHS great things.
Something like that.
And we have one.
Yeah, and I think just something simple as that is like, hey, we're gonna try this hashtag thing, and when you have a conversation about something that we're doing at the school and you want to share it, this is how we're gonna aggregate it all together. But I agree, like forcing anyone to do anything is usually not best practice and not usually gonna work out too well.
We need leaders like that, because I know Walled Lake is doing a hashtag. Down in Jackson, there's a bunch of schools that have a hashtag. Schwartz Creek has one. I believe Boyne City, look at all the wonderful Boyne City teachers that are in the chat right now, has one. It's just that we have leaders that don't know how to use it themselves. michED was part of at the Michigan Secondary Association Principals Association conference and presented michED as a hashtag and talked about how to use it as administrators and model it. But I mean, how long have ed chats been around? About 3 years. So we're getting there. Change takes time, and I think when we get better educators and we get better leaders in there using it, and we're getting some in the state, we have some great educational leaders that are using it. The more that they start using it in those positive ways, the better they are. But we have so many negative stories of social media and Twitter that scare administrators like mine a little bit away from some of these things. And they go, whoa, we need to hold back. So we have to, model and show and do things like this. This is a great thing, and continue to show the positive. And the more we do it, the more the presence grows every year at McCall and every year at other things, that I think it'll get better. And eventually, if the state ever recognizes it and gives us district-provided PD for this, for doing ed chats, that'll be incredible. But this, you can show somebody what you did instead of, hey, I put my seat, I have a butt imprint on a chair. You can say, look, these are the tweets I have. I can show you exactly what I did, and you can show my engagement level. So once the state starts recognizing it, then I think you'll start seeing the floodgate go, and we'll see more and more people here.
Kind of to build off what you were saying, Todd, I mean, I even think about professional development in our own building. And I don't feel that there's a lot of freedom, because it seems like our administrators don't, I don't know, I don't want to go this far, but it's almost kind of like there isn't a lot of trust that we're going to learn or choose to learn on our own. I mean, we're doing this on our own time, and it's kind of almost like our districts seem to say to us, we're going to choose the PD for you, we're going to tell you what to do, because we don't really have that faith and confidence that you're going to be able to make that choice yourself.
You're right. And with the changes in the law, though, a district can now say, and I challenge somebody like a progressive leader like David Tebow or even Mark Hess in Walled Lake, they are doing Twitter chats in their districts. They can say this is district-provided PD. It just takes them to say that and put it in their PD program, whether it be CALP or some other system, and count it, and all of a sudden the state has to accept it, and it helps to renew our license. But once we start having great leaders, and I think we have some, they're just getting there. There are great people that are starting to do this, and once they say, hey, we have to do this, they're starting to put ed camps on. They're counting as district-provided PD. When those leaders decide that they want to start accepting that for their staff, you know that it's more valuable. I mean, what district wouldn't want to count an ed camp that's free and on a weekend on a teacher's own time as district-provided PD? But, yeah, I know. That's.
And like ed camp, I counted ed camp as district PD. We have it on Kelpa.
Yeah, I've counted one. I counted Detroit Ed Camp. I can count. So, and they're trying to add more. So, yeah, as
I had them all.
You live. Yeah. So, yeah, it just depends on the leadership. I think I forgot to put the other.
Disneyland. Oh.
Yeah, can we count that one and get them to pay for the travel?
Yeah, but we're also the people that probably have like 300 hours a year.
Yeah.
As well.
I don't need.
So we don't. If I counted everything I could, it would be, wouldn't worth the
time. But if you started counting for the people that need 8 hours at the end of the year, there are people that still are at the end of the year. They still need 8 hours, which I think I'm already got about 80 for the year, and it's like if we get those people to they'll see the value of Twitter, because they'll get on here and they'll go, oh my God, I mean. Wow, I didn't know this. Of course, they might get blown over by the fire hydrant, but who knows?
Exactly.
Well, I think you're.
I was like, what the fuck?
Hello, hi. This is Batu.
No, my real name is Ryan.
Oh, hey Ryan, how are you?
I'm gay today, and you?
Very good, man. What does michED mean to you?
I don't care.
Oh, okay, good. Well,
I prefer just listen Todd because of his thinking like me. I respect you, Todd. I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we don't always have to agree, but as long as we respect each other, then that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, all right, not now. But Todd is very clever. I think so.
Todd is clever. It's Todd Block, not Todd Bloch or Blotchy. Todd Block. Yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Mike. You're welcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there is 15 minutes left in the michED chat. You know, I thank you guys so much for joining us today. I think Jeff has had to get to his hockey game. So I think maybe we should just call it a show early, and then we can spend this last 15 minutes just really participating in the last part of the chat. You know.
Sounds good.
All right. Well,
make sure we share with everybody and tell them what they missed, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
This.
where do you teach?
I'm sorry.
Where do you teach?
You know what? I don't teach. I work for the michED program, which is a part of Michigan Virtual University.
Oh.
So we, we just work with with teachers this michED program, trying to incorporate technology into the classroom.
All right.
So, yeah, absolutely. Well, Jennifer, Rob, Steven, Todd, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and I couldn't be more pleased that you guys and even our buddy Ryan, who I don't think lives in Michigan. I clicked on his profile. I don't think he's from Michigan. Yeah. He started lighting up something, and I ejected him, and I don't want to have to do that. But,
still working out the details,
That's what happens. That's live TV, baby. All right. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you ever want to host this show stuff, I implore you to just let us know. And hey, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Brandon.
Bye.